Just kind of starting out with last week's game, obviously not the result we were looking for. Felt like our team was prepared. Our team was definitely the more physical team. I thought we played with really good effort. I just don't think we played well enough in terms of our football intelligence. We made too many self-inflicted mistakes on offense to win the game, but credit to the Cougs for hanging in there and getting at the end. Very excited about this week, home opener. Obviously a very big season as well here with the 50th anniversary of the Kibbe Dome, the most unique and probably the most iconic home stadium in all of college football. So very excited to be back in the Dome. Our defense right now has really improved in a way that even surprised me. To hold any team in Division I football to 3 rushing yards is incredible, but anytime you can hold an FBS team to 3 rushing yards, I think that's really a testament to our defensive staff and obviously our players as well. Really want to give a shout out to the Vandal fans. Had a great showing over across the street in Pullman, and we're again excited to get back here and do it in front of you guys here in the Dome. So with that being said, I'll open it up to any questions you guys have.
I'm not trying to steer you into moral victory territory, obviously, but just what is it that stood out so much, about the way your team played, your team fought, and had you right in that game right down to the end?
Yeah, you said it, right? There's no more victories. At the end of the day, we understand that they're an FBS opponent, but we also understand that it was a very good matchup for us and a game we really, in a lot of ways, could have won. But it definitely showed some resolve with the players. We do have a very physical team. We do have a team that plays together, and I don't think there was anyone on our sideline that even when we were throwing it around in our backyard play at the end of the game that thought we would do anything else but win. And so I think that belief and the ability to stay together was definitely shown on Saturday night, and excited to continue that process with this group.
I know a lot of guys from the upper Midwest might not be the fastest people on earth, but they're not afraid to line up and hit you. What do you see about the Tommies?
Just like you said, physical group. I think they're very well coached. Coach Caruso has been there for a long time, had great success at the Division III level. I never get a chance to play or coach against them, but I know Linfield has faced the Tommies quite a bit, so have some history there. Coach Fendel, our special teams coordinator, defensive backs coach, has a couple of battles with that group, so I think we've got some familiarity with that program. But there's certainly going to be a bigger physical group. Maybe not the fastest team we'll play this season, but definitely a group that's going to play really hard.
Coach, from Josh, the first game, the run game obviously looked great. You said that was a big part of your identity, both from running backs and him, but what do you want to see from him just as far as in the air? Yeah, obviously I don't think he played as well as he would have liked throwing the football. He really was pretty dialed as a runner. I thought he used his legs very wisely in a lot of situations, but he's got to do a little bit better job this week of just, being calm, going through his progressions, making sure his eyes start in the right place so we can get to the next place. And so I think he's very aware of that. He's done a great job already coming in, watching some film with me, watching some film with Coach Linehan on his own, and then obviously with the team as well. So want to see him just get a little bit better, trust in his eyes, and getting them where they're supposed to be start to finish.
Running and playing defense kept you in the game with Wazoo right to the end. Do you expect to open that up a bit against St. Thomas?
No, I think we're always going to do what the defense gives us. We were in a situation on Saturday night where we felt like we had a major advantage at the line of scrimmage in the second half, and you could kind of see them having their hands on their hips defensively, and we wanted to continue to exploit that. If we can run the football and control the clock, especially in a tight game, that's what we want to do, but certainly want to be a little bit more open in our passing game in general, and I think you'll see that this week.
Coach, I'm no expert. I didn't see the game film, but just from the sidelines, it seemed like to me that Isaiah King might have been the best player out there.
Yep.
On either sideline, on either side of the ball, the other night. Just what have you seen from him, and for him to put together a game one like that in the season that has so much, riding on his shoulders? Just what do you see from him?
He's an all-conference guy for a reason, preseason-wise, and Isaiah is a special talent. We all know it here because we see it every day in practice. We kind of took it easy with him in fall camp. He was coming off a hamstring injury, but he's fully healthy now, and I told him after the game, I think he just needed to play a full game, and he did that, and he did it at a very high level. But it's no surprise to anyone in our building. That guy comes to work every day ready to go, and you saw his physicality, his length, his speed. He's really the total package in terms of a second-level defender, and it really was on full display Saturday.
It begs the question, did you guys come out healthy, or is anybody going to miss this game?
No, we're healthy. We're really healthy. We had a couple guys with kind of some boo-boos, but nothing crazy, nothing that I believe would lead me to believe they'll be out for Saturday. So we definitely stayed relatively healthy throughout Saturday night.
Chance maybe we see Nate back out there this weekend?
I hope so. He's probably right now, he's kind of day-to-day. Nate's doing his best to get back, but we want him to be back at full strength because we've got a big Sky slate that we're going to definitely need him for. So we're not going to rush him back, but I think he's getting pretty close to being back for sure.
Throwing the football was a bit of a struggle for you guys on Saturday night. What do you want to see this coming week, whether it's in practice or out there on the field, to kind of improve in that department?
Well, certainly got to happen in practice. We did a good job in practice, and I think credit to Washington State. I think they did some things in the secondary that just made the windows tough to see in their zone packages. They played a lot of zero coverage with guys underneath, so it looks like man everywhere, but they have underneath help. And so I think they did a really good job against our passing game, so that was part of the reason for probably some of the struggles. Not a lot of clean reads for our quarterback. So I think this week the pictures are a little bit different. I think there's going to be a little bit more space, and I really plan on Josh having a great week seeing it. Pre-snap picture to post-snap, and really doing a better job going through his progressions this week.
Those guys are not going to defend you man-to-man, are they?
They're not a real man coverage team, but all zone coverage is turned into man at some point, right, down the field. And so I think if our offensive line can continue to keep our quarterback clean and give him time to throw it, I think there's going to be some shots down the field as those, like I said, those routes all become one-on-one when you get down there 10+. So.
You were kind of saying physicality showed up, and that was something that you guys worked on during fall camp as well as the run game. Was there anything else that manifested from fall camp that you saw on game day that you were really happy with? Yeah, special teams. I thought our special teams were excellent. L.J. Harm had 5 punts inside the 20, really had 4 of his 5 punts inside the 10, and that unit is a unit you want to be excellent, right? We've talked about it a lot. If you're going to use the punt unit, that's got to be the best unit in the country because things have gone wrong on offense, right? You did not score a touchdown or kick a field goal, so we want our punt team to be really strong, and I thought you saw that. Coach Vandals done a really good job with that unit. Kickoff team I thought was good as well. Didn't have a lot of opportunities in the return game, but overall I thought special teams, from what we saw of last year's film through spring and now fall camp, it really has improved tremendously.
What's your defense going to have to do against St. Thomas? What do you expect them to run against?
St. Thomas is very much ground and pound, 12 personnel, 13 personnel. They're trying to get it to 3rd and short and convert. They're trying to keep your offense off the field as much as they can, and so I think our defense just has to do a really good job of, owning their keys. Doing a great job flying around to the football and continuing to be physical up front.
Eli and Art, got to see a lot of the ball this past game. Just what did you see out of them, and what did you come away? Any thoughts on their performance?
That running back room is a very deep room. I thought they played good. I don't think they played well. I think those two guys still have a lot left in the tank in terms of their ability. I thought they missed a couple of cuts that probably should have been made. Obviously, Eli, costly turnover in the second half. But overall, I think those guys are hard runners. I think those guys both have really good vision and contact balance, and you definitely saw a lot of that. I don't think there was gaping holes. I thought our O-line did a great job of establishing the line of scrimmage, moving it 3+ yards, but it wasn't like gaping holes, right? So I don't think our guys missed a ton necessarily, but they didn't really create much either. So I'm really looking forward for those guys this week, breaking a few more tackles and creating a little bit more on their own.
Just the helmets in front of you, and it's the first home game. Lots is going to be going on. What is your thoughts and just excitement on getting out there, showing these people these cool helmets and all the opportunities that bring the home game?
Yeah, I think anytime you get back in front of the home fans, you want them to have fun. And I'm a huge believer in football as being fun, right? If it ain't fun, why are you doing it? And so little things like this, turning it kind of almost a meme kind of deal from the field rush guys into like, hey, that's pretty cool. Let's do that. I thought it's really neat. I think our guys got pretty excited about it when we showed them last night. And, obviously we're the state of the potato, so we want to represent the state of Idaho the best of our ability.
You've been at this for quite a while. Can you characterize, or is it possible to characterize the kind of jump teams make between the first and second weeks or not?
Yeah, typically, especially offensively, you see some huge improvements from week 1 to week 2, and I expect no different. I believe that our defense will really turn it up a notch, especially in the back end. We really want to get our hands on the football in that back end. Didn't have a lot of opportunities to do that. I felt like we had a couple of breaks that were close, but Ty is always going to go to the offense. We got to get there a step sooner. But yeah, I'm very excited to see that improvement from week 1 to week 2, especially on the offensive side.
Is there any change in the mentality? You're going on the road to an FBS opponent week 1. Now you're home and a top 10 team. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the mindset?
We were fortunate that that first road game was so close that we really were able to operate like a home game. And so I think that familiarity that we have with the schedule from last week carrying right over into the following week is good. I think anytime you could have routine is good for the players. And I think the big adjustment will just be the kind of the emotions and the nerves with more people that will be there. Anytime you get your family, your friends, your peers, there's going to be additional stressors. But I think this group is a pretty veteran group with the leadership, and I think it'll be minimized in a good way. So very excited more than anything to get back out in the field in front of our home crowd.
I've seen that Wazoo game over the decades be a really aggressive rival game, kind of a collegial game where nobody was really trying to lean on Idaho too badly when the groups were by far the better team. And it looked like it was getting a little chippy again last week. Was that the case? And if so, would that imperil continuing to play those guys on a regular basis?
No, I think anytime you play a team that's 8 miles down the road, there's going to be some emotions. We share a lot of the same spaces. Like I said before, all the people from Pullman come over to Moscow to eat in our restaurant, so we see them all the time. So I think that the emotions, obviously the tight nature of the game, the physical nature of the game, emotions were certainly high at the end. But I think that's typical of any rivalry, any good rivalry at least. And so not disappointed in any way, shape, or form on how we performed on that end of the rivalry for sure.
I got to ask you, just with the fighting taters theme, what's the best way to eat potatoes in your opinion?
Oh, gosh. Probably I like a good baked potato. Load that sucker up with some sour cream, some bacon, a little cheddar on there, some chives. That's probably my best way. But I'll eat potatoes pretty much anyway. But that's probably my favorite way to eat a potato.
Continuing on that theme, I would imagine your guys are going to hear something from the Tommies about those helmets. Are they working on their retorts to that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Coach Caruso reached out today. I haven't had a chance to talk with him, but I'm sure this will, once this kind of gets out into the social media sphere and things like that, I'm sure it'll be talked about. I just hope we play well and we're viable for the right reasons.